wake already exhausted. The alarm sounds, and your body feels like stone, heavy, cold, as if something vital inside you has turned to ice. You go through the motions: vitamins, 8 hours of sleep, healthy meals, exercise when you can manage it. You do everything right, and still nothing. No energy, no spark, no desire. Inside, there is only emptiness, a hollow space where passion once lived. Joy has become a distant memory, like a photograph from someone else's life. You exist, but you do not truly live. This is not burnout. This is not depression, though it may wear that mask. This is something ancient, something sacred, something that modern medicine cannot name, because modern medicine has forgotten the language of the womb. You feel it in your body. Constant tension low in your belly. A coldness in your pelvis, even on warm days. As if deep inside, in the very core of you, something living has frozen solid and stopped breathing. And no meditation on higher chakras, no affirmations, no positive thinking changes this state. Because the source itself is sealed shut. For centuries, priestesses in the temples of ancient Egypt guarded knowledge that your doctors do not possess. They knew that woman's true power dwells not in the mind, not in the heart, but in the sacred cauldron of her womb. This knowledge was systematically destroyed, erased from the memory of generations, buried so deep that millions of women now live as ghosts, technically alive, energetically dead. But your body remembers, even now, beneath the ice, beneath the numbness, beneath years of disconnection. Your womb remembers what it was designed to be: a furnace, a portal, a gateway between worlds. And what has been frozen can thaw. What has been sealed can open. What has died can be reborn. In the next few minutes, you will discover why no amount of rest restores your energy when the source itself remains locked. In the Taoist tradition, there exists a concept lost to the modern world. They call it Dantian, the lower energetic cauldron positioned in the womb and sacral center. This is the Athanor of your body, the alchemical furnace where life force is born. When fire in the Athanor dies, you become a shadow of yourself. You walk, you speak, you function, but the essence, the vital spark, it is gone. The Tantric schools knew this same truth. They called it Kundalini, the sleeping serpent coiled at the base of the spine. Divine feminine energy in its most primordial form. While she sleeps, there is no awakening. no transformation, no access to your true power. You may live 80 years and never truly be alive. Your womb is not merely an organ for reproduction. It is a portal between dimensions, a gateway through which tremendous energy flows. Sexual energy, creative energy, life force itself. In ancient texts, they teach this. Energy must ascend from earth to heaven, from root to crown, from the base of the spine upward through every center. But when the foundation is frozen, when the portal is sealed, when the Athanor has gone cold, energy cannot rise. It pools. It stagnates. It turns toxic. This is why you feel the way you do. The Taoist masters were explicit about this principle. They said, until the lower dantian is filled and heated, the upper centers remain empty. You can meditate for 1,000 hours. You can visualize. You can affirm. You can work with crystals and cards and cosmic downloads. None of it will transform you, because you are trying to fill a vessel with a closed bottom. Energy flows upward, always, from dense to subtle, from body to spirit, from womb to crown. When the root is dead, the tree cannot bloom. When the furnace is cold, no alchemy occurs. When the serpent sleeps, consciousness remains in prison. This is not metaphor. This is energetic law, physiological reality. Your pelvic floor muscles hold chronic tension. Blood flow to your pelvis is restricted. Hormones are dysregulated. Neural pathways are suppressed. The frozen womb is not symbolic. It is literal. And it is killing your life force. Your womb did not freeze randomly. There are specific experiences that create energetic scars. 5 patterns that seal the portal. Listen carefully. See if you recognize yourself. First, sexual trauma. And before you say, "That is not me," understand this. Trauma is not only violent assault. It is the unwanted touch you permitted because you did not know how to say no. It is the partner who took without asking. It is the moment you learned that your body was not your own. These experiences leave imprints in the tissues, energetic scars that block the flow of life force through your womb. Second, loss, abortions, miscarriages, stillbirths. Each creates what I call a black hole in the womb's energy field, a portal that opened for a soul and then closed violently. The remembers. Even decades later, it remembers. Third, ancestral programming. The women in your bloodline who were told that good women do not want too much, do not feel too much, do not desire too deeply. Their beliefs live in your cells. Their fear of feminine power has become your fear. You inherited a locked womb from women who had no choice but to lock theirs. Fourth, chronic tension. Your pelvic floor muscles have been contracted for so long, you no longer notice. This is not anatomical. This is armoring. Your body learned to brace against pain, against violation, against a world that is not safe for open feminine energy. The armor became permanent. The gates closed. The flow stopped. Fifth, self-sabotage. The deepest wound of all. Your own fear of your power. Your subconscious decision to dim your light, to suppress your desires, to turn off the furnace. Because the world punishes women who burn too bright. You did this to survive, and it worked. You survived. But survival is not the same as living. Almost every woman I have worked with carries at least 3 of these 5 patterns. You are not broken. You are not damaged beyond repair. You are responding exactly as you were designed to respond to threat. Your womb froze to protect you. Now it remains frozen because it does not yet know the danger has passed. In the temples of ancient Egypt, priestesses who held this knowledge were systematically destroyed. The patriarchal religions declared sacred feminine power as witchcraft, as sin, as evil to be eradicated. They burned the temples. They killed the women. They erased the teachings. But they could not erase the truth coded in your body. Your womb knows what your mind has forgotten, and what has been frozen can thaw. Now you understand the wounds. But understanding alone changes nothing. You must grasp the fundamental principle that has been violated. Energy in your body follows natural law. It flows upward, always upward, from base to crown, from earth to heaven, from the root of your being to the highest centers of consciousness. This is not theory. This is how your energetic anatomy functions. When the root is dead, the tree cannot bloom. When the furnace is cold, no alchemy occurs. When the foundation is sealed, the temple collapses. You can meditate on your higher chakras for 10,000 hours. You can visualize white light. You can repeat affirmations until your voice goes hoarse. You can attend workshops, read books, practice mindfulness. None of it will transform you. Because you are trying to fill a vessel with a closed bottom. This is why your spiritual practices feel hollow, why meditation leaves you emptier than before, why positive thinking rings false in your body. Not because the practices are wrong, but because you are building a palace on frozen ground. In Taoist teaching, they call this the microcosmic orbit. Energy must complete the circuit, rising through the front channel, descending through the back. But when the lower dantian remains cold and sealed, the circuit cannot complete. The current cannot flow. The serpent cannot rise. The alchemy cannot begin. Modern spirituality teaches you to bypass the body, to transcend the flesh, to focus only on light, on ascension, on higher consciousness. This is a trap. A beautiful, seductive trap that keeps you locked in your head while your womb remains frozen solid. The keys I am about to give you work because they address the root. Literally. Each key unlocks one layer of the sealed cauldron. Each practice awakens one aspect of the dormant fire. The transformation begins at the foundation, or it does not begin at all. I will now give you the first key. Guard it. Use it. It has been passed down through lineages of alchemists for centuries. In alchemy, the Athanor is the furnace where the great work happens, the vessel where lead becomes gold, where base matter transforms into divine essence. Your womb is your Athanor, the sacred cauldron where transmutation occurs. For too long this furnace has been cold, dark, lifeless. The fire that should burn eternally has gone out. What was once molten and alive has frozen into stone. The first key is simple. Breath. But not ordinary breath. Alchemical breath, the kind that fans embers back into flame. Breath is the bellows of the inner furnace. Visualization is the fuel. Together, they reignite what has been dormant for years, perhaps decades. When you breathe into the Athanor with intention, when you direct golden fire into the frozen spaces, ice begins to melt. Not metaphorically, literally, energetically, cellularly. Listen carefully. I will guide you through the first practice. Sit comfortably with your spine straight. You may also lie down with your knees bent, feet flat on the ground. Place both hands on your lower belly, approximately 2 fingers below your navel. This is the location of your lower dantian. your Athanor. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply into your belly, feeling it expand against your palms. Do not breathe into your chest. Breathe low, into the cauldron itself. As you inhale, visualize golden fire igniting in the space beneath your hands, in your womb, in the sacred center. This is not red fire that burns and destroys. This is golden fire, purifying fire, alchemical fire that melts without harm. See it clearly, a sphere of golden flame in your pelvic bowl, warm, radiant, alive. At the top of each inhale, hold your breath for 3 to 4 seconds. Contain the heat. Let it accumulate. Feel warmth building in your pelvis, in your womb, in the deepest part of your belly. Then exhale slowly. As you release the breath, imagine the golden fire melting any ice, any coldness, any frozen places, any energetic scars. The fire does not force. It simply melts, gently, persistently. Notice what arises. You may feel warmth, tingling, pulsing sensations. You may feel nothing at first, and this is also normal. Frozen areas cannot feel until they begin to thaw. You may experience emotions, tears, anger, grief, unexpected laughter. Welcome all of it. Emotion is energy in motion. What has been frozen is finally moving. Practice this for 5 to 7 minutes at minimum. This is not a quick fix. This is rekindling fire that has been extinguished for years. Do this daily, without exception. The Athanor must be tended. Fire requires consistent attention, or it dies again. If you do this practice every morning for 21 days, you will feel warmth returning to your pelvis, energy beginning to pulse, the first signs of the ice breaking. But fire alone is not enough. Fire awakens. Movement circulates. The second key opens the gates of circulation. What fire awakens, movement distributes through your entire energetic body. In Taoist cosmology, the dragon represents primordial qi, the original life force that existed before form, before matter, before separation. When your pelvis moves in sacred patterns, you awaken the sleeping dragon in your dantian. The coiled serpent begins to stir. Energy that has been stagnant for years suddenly flows. This is not exercise. This is ritual. A temple dance as old as civilization itself. The priestesses of ancient Egypt knew this. They moved their hips in figure eights, in spirals, in waves. for entertainment, not for seduction, for energetic medicine, for activation of the sacred portal. Stand with your feet hip-width apart, knees soft and slightly bent. If standing is uncomfortable, sit on the edge of a chair with feet flat on the ground. Begin rotating your pelvis in slow, deliberate circles. Clockwise first. Imagine you are stirring a cauldron of golden honey with your hips. Let the circles be wide as feels natural. Feel the stretch and release in your lower back, in your hips, in the muscles of your pelvic floor. Make 10 to 15 circles clockwise, then reverse direction, counterclockwise. Make 10 to 15 circles in the opposite direction. Now deepen the practice. Begin adding the spinal wave. As your pelvis circles, let the movement ripple upward through your spine. Tilt your tailbone. Feel the wave flow through your lower back, through your mid-back, between your shoulder blades, up through your neck to the crown of your head. This is the dragon's wave, the serpent rising, energy ascending from root to crown, exactly as it was designed to flow. Finally, add the breath and the pelvic floor. As you inhale, gently contract the muscles of your pelvic floor, as if you are drawing energy upward from the base of your spine. Hold for a moment, then release completely on the exhale. Let everything soften. Let everything open. Notice where movement feels stuck, where your body resists, where there is pain or tightness or frozen resistance. These are the armored places, the protective shields your body built to keep you safe. Breathe into them. Move gently with them. Do not force. Do not push through pain. But do not stop moving either. The ice melts slowly, layer by layer. Practice this for 5 to 7 minutes of continuous, flowing movement. What you are doing is profound. You are physically releasing muscular tension that has been held for decades. You are increasing blood flow to your pelvis. You are waking dormant nerve pathways. You are activating the microcosmic orbit. But more than this, you are remembering. Your body is remembering what it knew before the wounds, before the freezing, before the shutdown. Women who practice this daily report a sensation of coming back online, of aliveness returning to their lower belly, of desire beginning to stir, of warmth replacing the cold. The dragon is awakening. The serpent is beginning to uncoil. But there is one more key, the deepest key of all. The third key reaches where breath and movement cannot. It penetrates the deepest layers of the frozen cauldron. It is sound. In Tantric teaching, sound is not merely vibration. Sound is the original creative force, the primordial power that spoke existence into being. Before there was form, there was sound. Before there was matter, there was frequency. Before there was anything, there was the cosmic hum. Your voice carries this same creative power. When you make sound from your depths, you literally massage your womb from the inside. Vibration penetrates tissue. Frequency awakens dormant cells. Sound unlocks what has been sealed. But this is not the voice you use in daily life. Not the polite voice. Not the careful voice. Not the voice that has been trained to please, to soothe, to never disturb. This is the voice you have suppressed, the raw voice, the primal voice, the voice that frightens you with its power. Women are taught from birth to quiet their voices, to speak softly, to laugh gently, to never roar, never wail, never unleash the full depth of sound their bodies can create. This suppression is not accidental. When a woman reclaims her voice, she reclaims her power. The two are inseparable. Listen carefully. I will guide you through the third practice. Sit or lie in a comfortable position. Place one hand on your heart. Place the other hand on your lower belly, over your womb. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths into your Athanor. Feel the golden fire still burning from the first practice. Feel the dragon still stirring from the second. Now, begin to sound. Start with the sacred syllable, Om, but bring the tone lower than you think possible. This sound should not resonate in your throat. It should resonate in your belly, in your pelvis, in the Athanor itself. Let the sound be deep, resonant, primal. Feel the vibration travel through your hands into the tissues beneath, into your womb, into the sacred cauldron. Then move through the vowel sounds, all on the lowest, comfortable pitch your voice can create. Ah, like the sound of release. Oh, like the sound of the moon. Ooh, like the sound of the earth herself. Do not perform these sounds prettily. This is not singing. This is not performance. This is sounding your depths. Let the sounds be raw, untamed, ugly if they need to be ugly. Notice what happens when you give your voice permission to be uncontrolled. Notice the emotions that arise. Grief often comes first, then anger, then joy. Wild, unexpected joy. Your body remembers what it feels like to be unsilenced. Practice for 5 to 10 minutes. Let the sounds become continuous, trance-like. Let them carry you into altered states of consciousness. What you are doing is profound. You are vibrating frozen trauma out of your tissues. You are activating your womb on a cellular level. You are reclaiming your right to take up space with your sound. The priestesses knew this. They toned, they chanted, they wailed. Not quietly, not politely, loudly, shamelessly. Sound is the final key, the deepest key. Use it. You now possess 3 ancient keys: fire, movement, sound. But knowledge without practice is merely entertainment. You must integrate this into your daily life, or it remains theoretical. I will show you how. Every morning, before the world makes its demands, before you check messages or turn on screens, give yourself 15 minutes. Just 15. This is your sacred time, your daily ritual of reclamation. The sequence matters, always in this order. Breath first, movement second, sound last. Each builds upon the one before. 5 minutes of alchemical breathing. Kindle the fire in your Athanor. Fan the embers back to flame. Feel warmth accumulating in your pelvic bowl. 5 minutes of dragon waves. Circles with your pelvis. Spinal waves. Pelvic floor engagement and release. Let the awakened energy circulate through your entire body. 5 minutes of womb toning. The deep sounds, the primal voice, vibration penetrating the deepest frozen layers. 15 minutes, that is all. But you must do this daily, without exception. Consistency is everything. The Athanor requires tending. Fire dies without attention. Perhaps you are thinking, I do not have 15 minutes. I am too busy. My life is too full. You do have 15 minutes. You are choosing how to spend them. Scrolling, worrying, rushing. These are choices. What is more important than rekindling your life force? What deserves priority over your own aliveness? Women in my programs report profound shifts after 3 weeks of daily practice. They wake with energy for the first time in years. After 6 weeks, desires they thought permanently dead begin stirring. Sexual desire, creative desire, desire for life itself. If you miss a day, begin again without guilt. Your womb does not punish. She welcomes your return. But understand this: transformation compounds over time. One practice changes nothing. Daily practice changes everything. The choice is yours. The keys are in your hands. Use them or remain frozen. How will you know the ice is melting? What are the signs that the great work has begun? Trust this. Your body announces transformation before your mind believes it possible. The physical signs come first. Warmth in your pelvis where there was only cold. Tingling sensations. A pulsing quality in your lower belly. Increased natural lubrication. For some women, menstrual cycles that have been irregular for years suddenly regulate themselves. Then the emotional signs. Sudden tears, seemingly from nowhere. This is not weakness. This is thawing. What was frozen is finally moving. Anger may arise, fierce and unexpected. This is healthy. This is your boundaries returning. Laughter bubbles up for no reason. Joy resurfaces after years of absence. The energetic signs are unmistakable. You wake with energy instead of exhaustion. Your body wants to move, to dance, to touch and be touched. Sexual desire returns, perhaps stronger than you remember. Creative impulses arise. Projects you abandoned call to you again. And then, life shifts. Not because you forced change, but because frozen life cannot coexist with awakened womb. You find yourself saying no more easily, setting boundaries you could never set before. Old relationships that drained you begin shifting or ending. New opportunities appear that match your returning vitality. One woman reported that after 4 weeks of practice, she left a job she had complained about for 3 years. The frozen womb had been holding her in frozen life. When the ice melted, she could no longer stay. Perhaps you are thinking, what if nothing happens? What if I practice and feel no change? Something is always happening, even if subtle. The ice melts slowly, layer by layer. Trust your body's timeline. Keep practicing. The thawing is inevitable if you tend the fire. But now, you must understand something crucial. Now you know, and you cannot unknow. Your womb has been frozen, not because you are broken, not because you are damaged beyond repair, but because you are responding to thousands of years of suppression, personal trauma, cultural conditioning, ancestral fear transmitted through bloodlines. You can ignore this knowing. You can set it aside. You can tell yourself it does not matter, that you will deal with it later, that perhaps it is not even true. but you cannot return to innocent unknowing. The veil has lifted. You have seen what lies beneath. The question is not, is this true? You already know it is true. Your body recognized it the moment I named it. The question is, what will you do with this truth? I have watched women spend decades running from this knowing. They stay in relationships that drain them, jobs that deplete them, lives that feel like slow death. Because facing the frozen womb means facing everything it holds. All the pain, all the rage, all the grief, all the power they have been taught to fear. And I have watched women who choose differently, who turn toward the ice instead of away from it, who tend the fire daily, who reclaim their voices, who move their bodies in the ancient patterns. They become unrecognizable, not because they change who they are, because they finally become who they always were beneath the ice. This work is not easy. Thawing hurts, sometimes more than staying frozen, because frozen means numb. Thawing means feeling everything you have avoided for years. But staying frozen has a price too, and you have been paying it in exhaustion, in emptiness, in desires that died, in passion that turned to ash, in a life half lived. You stand at a threshold now. On one side, the familiar cold, the known numbness, the safety of shutdown. On the other side, the unknown fire, the risk of aliveness, the danger of becoming fully yourself. No one can make this choice for you. I can give you the keys. I can show you the practices. I can illuminate the path. But only you can walk it. Choose right now, in this moment. Will you tend the fire or let it die again? The journey from frozen womb to awakened Athanor is not linear. Some days fire burns bright. Other days barely a flicker remains. This is normal. This is the great work. Alchemy requires patience. Transformation requires time. Your body knows the timeline, even when your mind demands immediate results. In alchemical teaching, there are stages. Nigredo, the blackening, the death, the dissolution into darkness. This is where you have been. In the frozen state, in the cold death of disconnection. Then comes albedo, the whitening, the purification. This is the process of thawing, of releasing what no longer serves, of washing clean the energetic scars. And finally, Rubedo, the reddening, the birth, the return of life force, of passion, of desire, of the sacred flame burning at full power. You are moving from lead to gold, from frozen survival to flowing vitality. The 3 keys are your tools: fire in the Athanor, dragon's wave, sound of creation. Use them daily. Use them with reverence. Remember that exhausted woman who woke tired every morning? She is still in you, but now she has keys. She knows why the well ran dry. She knows how to dig it again. Your womb is not broken. It is frozen, and what is frozen can thaw. You have heard this truth multiple times now. Let it sink deeper each time. Your womb is not broken. It is frozen, and what is frozen can thaw. This is not metaphor. As you practice, your womb is literally warming. Blood flow is increasing. Hormones are balancing. Neural pathways are rewiring. Simultaneously, energetically, the portal is opening. Life force is moving. The sacred cauldron is heating. You are both the Athanor and the alchemist, the vessel and the fire, the frozen lead and the living gold. In your womb, the great work happens. Transmutation from death to life, from cold to heat, from shutdown to awakening. The frozen womb does not stay frozen forever. It waited. It waited for you to find these keys. Now you have them. The thawing begins. If this transmission reached you, write one word in the comments. Not what you think you should feel. What you actually feel right now. One word. I will read every single one.